So the people who I attract, this is them. This is our Ferris State offensive line from 2021. I think a couple of qualities that I always look for and kind of think of, and I think it's very natural, but because of our position and what we do, we're guardians. We're really, I relate to my guys because they love superhero stuff, but we're the Avengers, right? We're the Avengers of the team. We're the dudes that have to police the team. And we can be some bad dudes, but that's kind of our role, is to really police and control our culture. I want guys that identify Ferris State as home. Number 68 here is from Canada by way of Holland, not Holland, Michigan, but over in Europe, Holland. And he identifies Ferris State as home. This place is home for a lot of these guys, and when they come back, we have a lot of dudes that leave on the offensive line and come back and hang out with us. I think an offensive line too, another trait is they got a swag in a league of their own. So don't even try to understand it, just lean into it and embrace it. And I think the last thing is these guys are all gas, no brakes. So making sure that you've given them the parameters to really be aggressive in certain elements of your program, and to really let their hair down and enjoy one another's company and turn up the gas and let it roll. And try not to police them, because by way of being natural offensive linemen, these guys are sensitive, and very, very protective, okay, of, the team. So this is kind of how I identify our offensive line in terms of a role and identification. So this is, the order of the room. The people who I track, this is the order in which the roles are distributed. A conventional way of thinking of a room, specifically offensive line, is you got the starters and then you got everybody else. And for most teams, there's no rotation. We're very unique with that. I'll show you that in a little bit here. But for everyone else, it's okay. Don't get in the way, whatever. For me, I've got 4 levels, and now we have a lot of guys. So you can mix and match these or eliminate one, but this is just how we are. We have our starters, we have our backups, we have our young bucks, and we have our scout team. So our starters are the frontline guys. These are the dudes that are the first to go in, and they are battle tested and battle ready. Those would be like, our 5 guys when it's 4th and 1. That's who I want out there. I want to keep those guys fresh. I want to limit their wear and tear. I want to make sure that they have the longevity that even though they're on the front line, they're not going down right away, from an injury standpoint, or even an academic standpoint, that I'm really working with those guys to make sure that they're comfortable and feeling good. And I want to keep them out of non-critical situations. That means when we have a lead, or a blowout, if it ever happens, to make sure that they have a body preservation. The backups are the next guys. Those are the dudes that I rotate in frequently. They're the next wave. They're the dudes directly behind that front line. So when a frontline guy needs a breather, when they need to regroup or whatever, these guys are coming in. In the game, they can shine in critical situations when it suits them. These guys are, I try to get these guys going in games where it best suits them. So if I've got a big, heavy, physical dude that doesn't move well in terms of pass protection, he doesn't have a good feel for pass protection, but man, this guy's our best run blocker. Well, 4th and 1, 3rd and short, whatever, I'm putting him out there because he's going to have a great time to develop and get better and give a breather for our dude. The other thing I want with these backups is I don't want them to be complacent. I want them to be headhunters. I want them to want to be starters and to really nip at those guys so they understand, that they could, make that jump. We had a couple guys last year that made that jump. I had a conversation with a guy And I told him, you're going to be fighting for a spot on the bus. I think you're right now our 11th guy. And he took those words and really, transformed himself and turned into a really good player and ended up starting a lot of games for us. So that's kind of the role that we want with these guys. The next wave is the young bucks. These are the guys, if I'm talking in terms of, military terms, because that was our kind of motto last year, or our identity with this group, is these guys kind of protect the home base, the base camp where we're on the move. These guys are close to getting on the field, but they're not quite there yet. Probably need another year. So my role for them is to be practicing with our first group. So when I need these starters or these frontline guys to be rested and rehabbing injuries or whatever, these guys are taking a lot of reps in practice. And then slowly working them into the game. So when we're home, we can play as many guys as we want. I'm playing these guys on PAT field goal just so they can get a feel and get their feet wet and overall develop down the road. And these guys need to be disciples of our culture. These guys cannot be a distraction. They cannot be high maintenance, in which usually, and I'll be honest with you, every year, the most high maintenance guy is the young buck, because they're so restless that they're not on the field and that they don't know if they're a scout team guy or, where they're at. And there's a lot of confusion. So it's really important for these guys that I'm ingraining them into our culture. And then lastly is the scout team guys. These are the young dudes or, walk-ons, and my mission for them is to guard home, so I kind of listen to them more than anybody in terms of maybe what's going on with our university, or did you hear about this, and kind of rapping with them on the day-to-day and the college lifestyle. And I want to give these guys credit when our defense plays good. I highlight them quite frequently in our meeting about that, and let them know that when our defense dominates, it's because of them. And I will watch their practice together when they're on scout team, and I'll highlight what they're doing well, or I'll point out what they need to improve on to improve and help our team.